The law of the inner circle. Thank you guys for tuning in for another amazing video here on Universol Leadership Development. As we take this journey together to become better leaders, today we're going to learn about the law of the inner circle by John C Maxwell and the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Make sure you guys have your pencils and pens ready and your notebooks and you're ready to take some great notes. And I'll see you at the end of the video. Stay tuned.
The law of the inner circle. Law number 11 is the law of the inner circle. And the law of the inner circle says a leader's potential is determined by those closest to him. Your potential and my potential is going to be determined by those closest to me. Teddy Roosevelt said in your notes, the best executive is one who has the sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants done and self-restraint enough to keep from meddling while they do it. Lou Holtz, who's a good buddy, one time said, John, here's the way it works in coaching football. If you've got a bad coach but good players, you'll have a losing season. He said if you have a good coach and bad players, you'll have a losing season. But he said if you have a good coach and good players, you'll have a winning season. And said, John, remember, it takes a good coach. In other words, it takes a good leader, and it takes good players. And a good leader is no substitute for a bunch of bad players. And a bunch of good players are no substitute for a bad leader. You got to have them both. Now, the law of the inner circle is one that I'm very passionate about, and I want to do a good job sharing this law with you. You see, I was 40 years of age, kind of not having a midlife crisis. I didn't have one. I didn't really have time for one. But I was 40 years of age, and I began to ask myself this question: why is it that I'm not achieving all that I want to achieve? I got in a couple days of really kind of melancholy. I was a little bit frustrated. The reason I was so frustrated was because I just hadn't hit all of my goals. And when I began to ask myself why I didn't hit my goals, I looked at myself and I knew I was very disciplined. I worked hard. I have some gifts in the areas that I'm working. And I thought, by now I should be a lot better than I am. And then it hit me. The reason I wasn't hitting all my goals was because I didn't have a good team around me. That's when the law of inner circle really came to me. I formed this law at the age of 40 because all of a sudden I realized that if I was going to really reach my potential, I was going to have to reach my potential with people. Now, when I wrote the book, The 17 Laws of Teamwork, the first law of the law of teamwork is the law of significance, and the law of significance says one is too small of a number to achieve greatness. It's a great law. In other words, you can't do anything significant by yourself. So therefore, if you're one of these kind of people that likes being a self-made man, so once in a while people say, I'm a self-made man. They want me to congratulate them. I always look at them and say, oh, that's too bad. I hate to hear that. Because if you've made everything yourself, you haven't made much. You see, the law of the inner circle says, if you really want to achieve great things, you've got to bring people around you, this inner circle around you, these key players that really make a difference. And one of the things that's so exciting about team leadership, and one of the reasons I love teaching 21 laws is, as I've shared with you before, not everybody does all 21 laws well. And going back to an illustration I used on the law of navigating, if Chuck is a good navigator and I'm not a good navigator, team leadership begins to be huge. And what I need to do is I need to understand each one of my players and what their strengths are. And if this truly is my team, if this is my team, I'm going to tell you right now, this team is going to make me or they're going to break me. Isn't that true? Think about the people closest to you right now. They're either your greatest asset or your biggest liability. And every once in a while I run the leaders and say, man, I'm telling you right now, I can't get my team to come along and they're not doing this. I mean, by the way, it's not any fun. Is it any fun to hit the ball and drag Charlie, hit the ball and drag Charlie, hit the ball and drag Charlie, hit the ball and drag? After a while, don't you just want to hit Charlie? Again, in the laws of teamwork, in the 17 laws of teamwork, One of the laws is the law of the chain, and the law of the chain says that the weakest link determines the strength of your team. You've got to have a team around you. You've got to have an inner circle. And the question I would ask you is a very simple question. Look at the 5 or 7. I'm not talking about everybody in your organization. I'm talking about everybody in your department. But look at the 5 or 6 key people. And ask yourself a very valid question. Are these people adding value to me? Or are they pulling me down? This is huge. Are they an asset? Or are they a liability? I've often said to your inner circle, they carry around the company, they carry around 2 buckets. One has water and one has gasoline. And a little fire problem, a spark of contention breaks out in your organization, your department or something, and they run over and they got these 2 buckets, one with water, one with gasoline. And how they use those buckets determine what kind of a problem you have when they're done with it. I mean, a lot of them, they'll take that water and put it on that fire, and it all smolders out, and it's a little puff of smoke, and it's nothing, and you get done, and you say, oh my goodness, that was no big deal. Or haven't you had people in your inner circle? They took that bucket of gasoline, and they saw this little spark of fire, and they threw that bucket of gasoline on, and when they got done, the city fire department was out. I've seen it happen many, many times. I would say this about your success as a leader. Your ability to have a good inner circle around you and your ability to train them and develop them is absolutely essential to your success. So let me share with you some inner circle commitments that you need to make. Let me share with you some commitments that you need to make as a leader to get your inner circle to where it needs to be. First of all, I would make this inner circle commitment to team leadership. No longer become or be the Lone Ranger. Say, I'm going to lead, but I'm going to lead with people. I'm not going to just lead people, I'm going to lead with people. I'm going to develop me a leadership team. And remember, as you develop your leadership team, as you develop your inner circle, they're not there to compete with you, they're there to complete you. They're here to make you better. And by the way, you're there to make them better. You should be adding value and completing them just as they're adding value to you and they're completing you. Make a commitment, an inner circle commitment to team leadership. Secondly, evaluate your leadership team. Since the inner circle makes or breaks you, be honest in your evaluation of them. Look at them realistically. Assess them. Hold them accountable. You cannot afford to have people in your inner circle that aren't performing with excellence, that aren't giving it their best shot, that are kind of slacking on you. You can't afford that. You can't afford that to do your inner circle, and you can't afford to let them do that to you. So you've got to evaluate those people that are closest to you. And for years, I've used a grid in evaluation. It's a simple one. It doesn't need to be yours, but I'll just share it with you. It's in your notebooks. When I'm evaluating people to either come into my inner circle who are in my inner circle, I evaluate, first of all, what I call potential value. What is their potential? Many times these are people who have been able to raise themselves up, and they show great potential because if you can raise yourself up, you probably can raise others up also. I look, secondly, at positive value. Those who just lift and raise up the organization, the morale of the organization. Is it not true? Do you not know some people? Do you not know some people that they just come into the company and they just suck air out of everybody? You know what I'm talking about? Don't you? Aren't there just some people, you just see them coming. They just open the door and you see them and they're saying, oh, they're coming to me. I'm about to give up energy. Huh? I'm about to feel what it's like when you're dying. And aren't there other people? They just walk in the room and your energy automatically goes up. Wow. I found out a long time ago there are 2 kinds of people in life, lifters and leaners. Wow. Lifters have the ability to just lift me up and help me to go to another level. And leaners, oh my goodness. You know, the leaning in the beginning isn't bad, but when it's after about 3 years, you say it's a lot of weight to carry. So I look at their potential value, I look at their positive value, I look at their personal value. I'm talking about myself now. I'm looking at what personal value are they to me. Can I look at their life and say, here is how my leadership is enriched because they are part of my life? I look, fourthly, at production value. Do they have the ability to raise up others? Do they have the ability to produce? And then the final evaluation for me is what I call proven value. Have they done it for so long that there is a trust element here now that they just always come through? I'm getting ready for a big assignment, and so yesterday I sat down with my assistant, Linda Eggers, and I kind of shared with her what I needed her to do. In fact, she's doing it right now in her office because it's a large assignment for a group of business people that I'm going to meet with for the next 2 days. Last night, I don't know, probably 9:30, she's over at my home office, and we're going through it one more time, and she says, John, I not only have done what you've shown me, and she gives it to me, but then she said, I realized what you wanted to have accomplished with it, so she said, I did it this way. And she just took what I had given her to a whole new level. And I said, Linda, one more time, you just make me better than I am. One more time, Linda. One more time, as so many times. You've taken what I've given you, and you just made it better. And you're going to make me look so good, and you're going to allow me to help so many people because you are a key player on my inner circle, and you have proven value to me. Make inner circle commitments. Inner circle commitments such as, I'm going to have team leadership, and then I'm going to evaluate my team. Another inner circle commitment I want you to make is that you're going to develop your leadership team. Make that commitment. I'm going to develop the people around me. I'm going to make sure that my leadership team grows. And here's why. If you grow your inner circle, you'll grow your business. Grow your people, grow your company. It always works that way. That's the law of the inner circle.
And there we go, guys. Another amazing video. Lots of powerful information. I hope you guys take notes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And within the description below, there is a link so you guys can go ahead and test your knowledge. See how much information you retain today. And if you have any questions and if you felt that this was very helpful, let me know in the comments. What did you like the best? Thank you.